The lowest piece of value nations. For example, Hartford, Connecticut, Weatherford, Connecticut, founding of this country, led right before the last civil battle of the Revolutionary War. George Washington and the French colonial count, semi-count the store, with the head chopped down and have to leave with overt slavery in Weatherfield, Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut. In the north, New York, pseudo-positive natures and physical delusions enter science. This is forced all kinds of ways. Life progression relationships, blaming on other things and on selves, the real causes of negative value nature, progressive support, organized crime method, entrenched since before our founders' birth. Knowing that the tactically nature relationship to nature, that they force denatured soils, denatured relationship to nature, appearance of other, to unfold in phases only remembered as other landscape theater, contrasted to overtly criminally foreign influence, tactically denatured relationship to nature, Hartford, Connecticut. Abuses of the women and of the men as fact treated nature roles, pseudo positive, as tools, poor jobs, pretended as value that they're not. So before they had the Milner school kids walking in the narratives in the news, recorded involved with their abuses. See, outside where we have pseudoscience that's not letting correlation demonstrate, that juxtapose torturing people, stealing their identities with physical delusions and convictions that are ulterior than they could put on paper. So what they're having had in appreciating having had facilitated for them with database solution stacking, evidence reception rackets that were with everyone raised before their to the age of proper fact treatment, age of reason, as predators, all various styles, fake sides. So if you call to report crime acts, people make excuses. They say other mandated law that schools. They say, "Oh, that's not our town." This is interceded in the state judicial branch offices. Actors with them recorded with WFSB, Fox CT with fake news, criminally foreign influence fake news, roles with interbranch forwarded and standing, retired and standing. We have interbranch collusion as fake branches, collusion criminal with foreign other police and overt criminal enterprises used for what they're really recorded, facilitated for originally still, and exploited, used as against each age of factory nature. It's recorded that people that I went to grammar school with, I never had a conversation with my life. And every appearance of other was criminally set up because how they have interbranch family recorded now and through time, juxtaposed with overt criminal enterprises, and with other policing, and we see what that's manifest with that without needing to hide life progressions, with private with that too. Whereas and how there are methods of crimes all bonded originally and still not let demonstrated because the branches are pretending they have the right to be criminally foreign influenced with acts in nature's well. In other words, they don't. In all kinds of ways, they don't. In other words, we have worse than leaking because we have where it is completely a fact cheap nature racket roll, especially with psychology, especially with doctors of it who are police interbranch and intermilitary. We have physical delusion propagation because we have criminality with shared nations here. Middletown recorded and confessed interbranch corruption with through time with Connecticut Wethersfield, many roles with intercampuses of Connecticut, interstate campuses, kids connected that were raised with database solutions stacking identity theft roles. Recorded and confessed that this is tied to how they systemically train people to go make loaded statements to people and to you know, be naive evidence perception, pretend they believe convictions and physical delusions that aren't. So if someone comes with quality fact treatment nature, they pretend they don't understand them, and then more and more strangers, because these are strangers. In other words, interbranch recorded offensively preventing people free speech and stealing our speech and having the media do so, lying about our behavior with sequence shifts. See, then they want to have then they can't defend reality. So they have to keep saying lies about us and want the courts to demonstrate. See, they're not letting the courts. The courts are criminally involved with the areas already stuck with crimes with people recorded, tied to, and confirmed right after and leading up to that, with tied to former director of the FBI, former standing chairperson of the FBI, Robert Luskin, associated with federal criminals, associated with him, with kids and stuff like that, recorded and confessed, involved with database illusion stacking, crimes with criminal justice, undercover with before they're adults, raising them, needed to cover life progressions, needing them to be knaves of relationship to people they don't know. And then that's investing when they have other investigations, because they still have overt criminal enterprises and uses of them, and uses of how that is juxtaposed with perpetually with all kinds of policing, foreign and domestic. We have the same gangland political figures and stuff like that, like natures of fake sides collusion with convictions, physical delusions repeated through time with these overt gangs and like treatments of they show of course you're not supposed to take a baby from a woman, stuff like that. They do way worse with the only people associated with kids care. Recorded, confessed, internation police, and our own sick with kids through DCF, through, in other words, through area, on off CCSU, roles training people before they're adults, fake pseudo-positive, crime roles with investigators, originally and still maintain criminally foreign influence, not even a debatable, but through offensive evidence mistakes on purpose, evidence crimes on purpose, that WFSB, Fox CT, recorded and confessed with their lawyers, private, and with their private police too, also with WTNH, say that they call people back. They recorded hiding crime acts with kids, forcing sustained child sex offenders for their roles, needing to hide criminality, with their saying that they call back every person. Then because they want to say that the courts have been, and the interbranch acts have been directing everyone to say they don't understand people because they want courts to settle things because they're criminally foreign influence collusion. They need to go cover crime roles with their family members through time, with the people in their courts through time. We have sick things, but I just remind. See, people don't see that. They don't see when the kid is separated from their parents every day with courts. And the real reason, and then they say, oh, those people need help. They need help, but when the people that are having help are forcing locked in, it's at key moments of people's lives too, because these are people with area life progression cover-up natures in relationship to each individual group together and progress with a correlation nature, maintain consciously criminally foreign influence, maintain consciously standing life progression cover-up nature's needs and styles. I speak clearly, you understand me here. I'm talking about the sex acts of the interbranch actors in Connecticut and fake sides recorded with the state judicial branch offices associated with all kinds of natures of WFSB, with Enzo Fienza, interbranch police, evidence reception crime roles with him since he was a kid, with drugs and stuff like that, with police officers, and with this Dylan guy associated with the new and past neighbors, with the untimely deaths, and with all the confessions from the strangers that brought up the child sex offenders that they forced sustained first with the principal sex offender, and still more worse than him are still with the schools, because we have internation police, you fools. Now, see, we have through time we have interbranch. That means we have natures of retired and standing intercity mayors other natures and levels of like Congress people. Like there's an Anthony Agman and a domain family recorded to confess to violence with foreign and domestic police with crimes with sciences teachers and with the corner of with mobile gas stations and Weathersfield, with the policing of the stores in Weathersfield, town line, Stop and Shop, using their parking lot, using the businesses in there, including the Chinese food place that Mike Pandoff demonstrated was involved with his roles with crimes with probate court judge family associated with that place and with a place on Two Rod Highway where it goes to Hangdog Lane with a I don't know their names with a if it's still the family there too is a Victorian house tied to all the people with the criminal ties to the houses in my area with his extended family members, people in my grades growing up that had crime roles with pretended they knew me. I never had anything to do with them. They were painting fake police reports through time, recorded, interbranch police, forging names, switching names, so then they can say they don't understand people. This is tied to why they're not taking letting people report sex crimes acts, especially if they made up about all those girls that were raped by the doctors, because there are doctors here recorded with crime methods, with various natures of courts, with Hartford Hospital, with various natures of military, with Hartford Hospital, standing and retired. When they have these narratives, fake passions with the VA, because we have a standing locked that is sick with homelessness. That's in other words. These are not means. You don't have these. We have criminally foreign influence zoning laws. We have tactically denatured criminally foreign influence since before our founders' birth here. Relationship to nature, relationship to means, relationship to each other. We have it blamed on other. We have physical delusions with the sciences, not by accident, because we have a database solution stacking rackets. We have identity thefts. Now we're going to take care of this. We're going to get the names because we have interbranch shifting names through time, switching names, switching sequence, and we don't have time. We don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. They have rackets where they make fights between men and women set up for theater inside cases so they can pretend to think things and believe things in other cases because they're hiding crimes from the president. They're using that Cohen guy. If he's tied to the Cohen at CCSU, besides the other ways that's tied interstate to New York interbranch and criminal justice rackets through time. All kinds of ties to Johnny Duke with that. Judge is retired and standing with the Joe ILO and with WFSB, Fox CT police, recorded and confessed into the branch involved with forging names, switching names into branch actors through time, switching them so then they can say they don't understand people. In other words, switching sequences. This is CT cases, Connecticut cases, where they have sequence shifts from inside the court. Whole fake things just stacked in database against people through time. Fake relationship to doctors of kids, because those doctors have sick kids, have fake psychology families real sick with this Anthony Agman on Facebook right now, still writing when they have me blocked all month. And this has been the past too. They force either you block them because that's for his recorded roles with Amenda's family. With in Weathersfield Police Department, criminal acts and natures with sex offenders, male and female, and doctors and investigators of that, using that like that for time, for health, for making people and the sensibilities of women and of kids not being able to protract because they're just forget it. Everyone's told to rely on experts. Now, these are interbranch women, private women, typing sex crime acts into databases, fake conversations with me, fake relationships to people. You understand what I'm saying? And you're going to fix the fake news, WFSB, the Fox CT, all the FBI associated with this Ian and with this John Maiano and with the fake news, with his roles with the Christine and with doctors associated with them and with the Phil Collot and the other people I never had anything to do with, tied to the same sex offenders cliques into branch, retired and standing, and with the police dispatchers with it. Also with the town line road stop and shops intercity. spots. This is a space nature. Also, there's a Crystal Hector, Mark Hector. I don't know why that name keeps getting message to me on one of my emails, but I never had anything to do with them. But Joe DeMoro recorded and confessed with others involved with interbranch crime acts, roles, natures through time through with Hartford campuses and with golf courses and with ones I didn't even go to, but also what is that place right next to where the guy who had the loan money, J.P. Morgan, to fight the world wars, which is still with our obligations to have George Washington, how he didn't chop down the cherry tree, how he had to leave, avert slavery, how I had to leave, what had his fact treatment nature, slavery, stolen identity, voice, and force, giving another one into a database, left uncharged. Active roles, more than 99.9% of the crimes, forced sustained torture, forced sustained fact treatment racket natures, fake care for the law. They say, oh, we care about the law. They're saying that because they're using that as a weapon because they have been through time, because they were raised as victim predators. But which is keeping this, each individual grouped together progressively, sequentially, measured, either indifferent to being a criminal and say this nature, I'm not even a lawyer, or, exploiting it, or different to it, hurt by it, incapable of correlation, of means by it, simultaneously inherent, active, and progressive identity of value nature relationship, values nature relationship as value nature, as a complete body of values nature, further a semi-nature into values of complete nature, identity of nature. Yes, lost force returns. I'll drop the force right here. Campus Marcius returns home. Who learns? The pseudo-peace. Campus Marcius rises in the east. Yes. Ten who trade. The branches fall right here.